Welcome back, everybody, to the October Country Comics Podcast. This is Devon.
Will.
Steven.
We're going with your real name today? This is great.
Off to a really interesting start.
I don't know, it started becoming like with him not using his real name, it started becoming a Keenan and Kel thing, where every time they would start the show, Keenan would come up with this ridiculous thing that they were gonna go do, and Kel would freak out.
Yeah.
Those are always fun.
We can always start it over, and I could think of something.
No, it's fine. You already ruined it.
Alright.
It's fine. You're just being boring and basic today.
Wow.
Wow.
Says the one that literally consumes pumpkin spice. Like he's coming back from the gym in his Ugg boots.
Actually, I haven't had any pumpkin spice this year.
Yes, you have.
I had one pumpkin spice coffee.
You just said you hadn't had any pumpkin spice.
I haven't really had any pumpkin spice this year. There really hasn't been a lot. I've had one pumpkin spice coffee, and that was from an actual coffee house, not one of those Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts places.
I don't like pumpkin spice. I think that stuff is vile. I don't.
I'm a big cinnamon person, so it has a very cinnamony.
Cinnamony?
Cinnamony, yes.
Cinnamony?
Cinnamony.
I wish I could contribute,
Cinnamony.
but I don't. I kind of just drink water, man.
I was gonna say.
You don't drink. You don't.
Unless
yeah,
it's tequila, you don't drink it.
That's true.
But you don't like. You don't like any hot liquids at all.
Nope.
It's not even coffee.
Wait, you don't even like coffee?
No, I don't like coffee,
Okay,
tea.
so I literally need to know this. As a college student,
Mm-hmm.
how do you get your energy if you don't drink coffee?
It's all natural. It's my actor strength. It's my actor.
Natural.
So it's all the Coke, is what you're
I was
telling
gonna
me.
say, have you tried cocaine?
I went to a party recently to where it was now when they host parties, they'll
me
they'll
and
make a
Devon are too
Facebook
old.
event about it. That's how modern parties work now. They'll
Because
make
you
a
and I are
Facebook
way
event
too
about
old
it.
for modern parties.
Yeah.
And I went to it, and one of the rules on the list of things you can't do was specifically snort Coke off the sink. Off the sink specifically.
That's interesting.
Anywhere else in the house or apartment, wherever we were, it was fine.
Just not the
in the
sink.
Just not the bathroom sink specifically. The bathroom sink.
Well, I think that may. I mean, listen, I'm not condoning any of this in any way, shape, or form. I'm pointing that out right now. But I think the logic behind that is that if it gets in the air, it can get on toothbrushes and stuff, and that's the last thing you need is be brushing your teeth in the morning. Just be like, whoa, okay, I'm up, I gotta go. We gotta go
why
right
does
now.
everything taste numb?
Yeah, what's going on?
What
And
does
why
numb
do I
taste
have
like?
so much energy now? You're awake.
I was wondering.
You're awake at 5 in the morning, time to brush my teeth again.
Well, that's like I was we were actually talking about this the other day. I was talking with one of the regular customers, and he was telling me that for his company now they have specific things that they have to label, if there's a chance of it causing cancer. Yeah, hey, if you don't eat these microchips because you could get cancer if you eat microchips. I mean, aside
Wow.
from other things, you might die, but
I'd
the
imagine
funny
that's a
thing is
risk.
it's actually because of a law passed outside of the United States and other countries and in California, which is why it's very funny. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it till after my friend mentioned this, but I was building something with my dad. We were taking something out of a box, and in the box had a big label on it that said, materials may cause cancer in California.
Specifically in California.
Nowhere else.
Thank God
Just
you
in
don't. Thank God you
we
don't live in California. Yeah.
I was like,
That's beautiful.
and if he was
Sounds-
telling me that there's a lot of companies that because it's a California law and no other state has this law, they do that out of spite. You can get cancer from this in California.
Yep. Apparently, according to that,
That
can.
was apparently this is what the world's come to.
Are you
That's
ready for
amazing.
this?
Are you ready for this?
No.
Do you? I mean, hey, are we actually ready for the first thing we have to talk about today?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Not
Let's
really.
go for it.
Let's skip it and pretend we did.
I mean, we can't skip it. It's kind of an important thing that happened.
It's-
I don't know what you're talking about. It was an emotional podcast. People cried. They held each other. They told their families they loved them.
We're going to, yeah.
Mm.
That's great. It's unfortunate. So I mean, the big first thing up on the podcast today, guys, is we lost Stan Lee over the
Yeah.
past week.
That's pretty nuts, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty crazy. Like I haven't really like I've thought about it obviously, but like up until now it hasn't really like processed because I haven't been in like a I don't hang out with a lot of people who read comics as avidly as I do at the college specifically, and I see those people like more often than most people I used to see before I went there. And none of them like everyone like did this like oh my god yeah it sucks like they don't read comics but they go see the Marvel movies and he's the old guy that shows up in like every movie for like 2 seconds and that's that but that's nuts. I mean like this man was influential in like the majority of like pop culture icons that we see now, like fictional ones, but they're like superheroes that like you go on the street everybody knows who Spider-Man is.
Oh yeah.
Like it's nuts.
Well, I mean that's the thing. I mean, just everything that he did, what he made Marvel into. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole idea, like the whole idea behind his storytelling was, yeah, we can have these super characters, these fantastical stories, but at the end of the day, they have to be a person that you can relate to. It has to be someone you can believe is a normal person having to deal with all these outside factors. That's why, that's where they got the motto, Marvel, the world right outside your window.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what it was. It was, I mean, Peter Parker.
It was also real cities.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the end of the day,
Yeah.
Peter Parker is just a guy who he's got a freelance job. He's trying to pay rent. He's trying to take care of his sick aunt. He's trying to balance a life and school, and then on top of all that, he's got to deal with the fact that he's got these crazy supervillains tearing up his neighborhood every other week.
Spider-Man.
You know.
Yeah,
And-
the Marvel characters like dealt with like everyday stuff. That was I saw a post like years ago that said the DC characters are gods that want to be men, and then the Marvel characters are men that want to be gods because the Marvel characters are just way more relatable. And I watched an interview actually recently. I think it was shared on Facebook of him, and it had to be like in the 70s or 80s. He was on a talk show, and he was talking about, and he doesn't look that much younger. Like, oh my God, like a little bit of a lighter note, a lighter tone joke here, but like, was that man ever like younger than like 50?
40? Yeah.
Like I
He
see
did
every picture of
eternally
him, and I'm
look-
like, did he never not have the mustache?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, this man.
I think when he started, because I saw on Instagram someone shared his quote unquote first day at Marvel,
Mhm.
and he did not have the mustache
Oh wow.
or the hairstyle.
or the hairstyle.
Yep. No, yeah,
But yeah, he makes the characters like to be, and he explained, all the comic book characters and how they're like big and strong and they're invulnerable. Like that's why a lot of people these days don't like Superman.
Yeah.
Because he's
Well-
like, how can you relate to that?
Well, yeah, but I mean, the thing is, like, one of the things that I actually remember this because this was actually my first Comic-Con I went to. It was the third, I think it was the third New York Comic-Con.
Like ever?
Yeah, the first,
Yeah.
like since they started doing
Are they that young?
Yeah, it's not an old thing.
yeah, well, I mean, my first Comic-Con was what, 06?
Yeah, so only 12 years old.
Yeah. So, I mean, they had a bunch of other cons in the city, like Big Apple Con and stuff like that. But
Do they still do Big Apple Con?
I don't know. I think they might call it something else
Yeah.
now. But up until that point, the biggest cons were the Wizard Comic Cons.
Oh, I always wanted to go to one of those.
Yeah, I heard those became like actually not that great over the years because especially ever since Wizard kind of,
I missed
shit
that
the bed.
magazine.
Yeah.
It was an
But
awesome
now it's
magazine.
like,
now it's just previews. That's all, really.
Yeah. But yeah, no. The when I went to my third Comic Con, I went to the panel that it was the 1960s Marvel bullpen, and it was actually they had Stan Lee up there, they had Joe Sinnott, they had a couple of the other guys. I don't remember everyone who was up there, because I don't think everyone from the '60s bullpen obviously isn't around. Jack Kirby wasn't there, obviously.
Yeah.
But Joe Sinnott and Stan Lee stood out for me because I don't think Ramita Senior was there either, because he might not have been until like later on. But Stan said, he goes, listen, one of the things that we always try to do is we always try to use, science when we explain characters' powers. And he's like, he goes like,
Like real science, or did they just like make it up?
no,
Well,
it was,
it's not like radioactive spiders are floating around.
Well, no,
everywhere.
no, but he.
Well, yeah, but like the mathematics, like Star Trek, when they use it, they like look up. They hire people to come in and like fact check what they're saying.
Well, the thing is, like he was saying, he used Thor as an example. And he said, well, yeah, he goes, well, what? Like he said, he got a letter one time and asking about how can Thor fly. He goes, oh, well, it's because of the hammer, because he takes the hammer and he swings it around like a propeller, and he uses
up and away.
Because otherwise, if Thor doesn't have the hammer or the goats, he can't fly.
Did you say the goats?
Yeah, he has his goats. They're goats. Tooth Gnasher and
Tooth Gnasher.
yeah.
I did not know Thor had goats.
Yeah, he's got a chariot. He's got 2 goats.
This is amazing.
That's actually from the mythology.
I really did not know that.
Don't let Annalisa hear you say that.
She already knows I've never overly been in love with Norse myth. I prefer Greek.
But
Everything's all romanticized and pretty.
so he was going. He goes, yeah, and that's how we explain things. We actually like made a point of actually trying to explain things like, oh, it's not just that he can just fly. There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
He that was also the same panel where someone asked him when the Q&A part came up, who would win in a fight, Superman or the Hulk? And he goes, oh, the Hulk, 100%. Is because the whole science behind the Hulk's power is the madder he gets, the stronger he gets. Superman's only so strong. Once he makes the Hulk angry enough, the Hulk will be more powerful than Superman, and he can beat him.
But wouldn't Superman just like laser him to death?
There is
There is a comic book, I think, where the Hulk and Superman go at it, and Hulk punches Superman, and nothing happens.
But
But that was post Crisis Superman, so he could just like blow the planet with his breath, like off his axis, like the weird.
Well, the thing was is that but you gotta remember, no, he wouldn't be able to eye beam the Hulk or anything like
Why?
heat vision.
Perpetually though, I
Because
do
the
have
Hulk
to.
has his skin's like super tough, like almost as tough as Luke Cage, and he has a healing factor close to Wolverine status.
I have to disagree with Stan. However, rest in peace, my guy. But I mean, yeah, no, he was a very logical thinker when creating the characters and making sure that it all kind of stood up, and also making sure that these characters, like, you could read it and be making sure that they were heroes, but they weren't perfect,
Yeah.
because you can't. There's only so many times you can read about, like. There's only so many times that Batman can do something, and you could go because he's Batman.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like you can't. There's nothing
come on,
you can
man.
say. There's nothing you can say about any of the Marvel heroes. Like, well,
Yeah, you can't just say because he's Captain America.
Yeah, no, it's like it
no.
doesn't. Like there isn't anything that that's just a given because he's Captain America. Nothing.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
he's getting punched out by the Hulk. He's getting punched out. Like there's no like, he made it out because he's fine. No, he's just a guy. He's just an extra strong boy.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. Like you sit there and you look at it. Like, listen, like I mean, you guys both know this. I love me some Grant Morrison Batman. Love that run to no end. And
the creator of Bat God.
Yes. But the thing was that at a certain point they had this whole thing where Batman went. They like attacked Batman and they left him for dead, and he doesn't remember who he is. And you find out that what he did is that Batman went through training to create a backup personality that if anything ever happened to him psychologically, the backup personality would come out and would basically be like an autopilot till his mind was repaired enough for him to take back over. And literally, and I think this was Grant Morrison's reasoning, he had no other reasoning except for, well, because he's Batman. That's why it works, because he's Batman.
Yeah, Iron Man can't do that.
No.
But he shouldn't, because
No.
it wouldn't make any sense. Because these aren't as... Like, the DC characters are more related in fiction than the Marvel ones. And I think that's what puts Marvel in such a special place. And I think Stan like knew that. I think that's what he was striving for in creating a difference between the two, because a lot of people joke around and be like, Marvel, DC, what's the difference? Like
My
that, I
God, I
think
hate
is like
that
the
No,
main.
yeah, no, and that's the thing. The biggest thing, the biggest thing is like you said, like I mean, and we've said it several times already. Now is that the Marvel characters are relatable. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, what walk of life you come from, there is a Marvel character there for you.
And they're so influential now
Yeah.
with
I mean,
the movies and
yeah,
everything.
But I mean, look, I mean, just look at like take a character who isn't necessarily a hero, the Punisher. He's not a hero. He's a vigilante.
He's
And-
my hero.
Was Stan Lee involved in his creation?
no. But
No.
But I mean, look at this. This is a character Stan didn't create, and he's still a character that's believable and realistic. He's a guy. He's a ex. He's a retired soldier who came back from war, who watched his family get killed, and it's kind. I believe this is what a person like that would do. I think like a person who goes through something like that, yes, this is a proper response. You're going to make sure that there aren't any criminals left to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
And that's more of an extreme thing, but it's still a believable enough reaction. And there's a lot of people out there who have been victimized and have witnessed horrible things, and to read a book where there's someone giving the devil their due. That's kind of and then and there's another character, Daredevil. He's handicapped. I mean, yes, okay, he has the sonar and all the other stuff because of the radioactivity, but he's at the end of the day he's handicapped. He still had to learn how to read Braille. He still had to he had to do all these things. He becomes a lawyer. A handicapped person who goes through his entire life and winds up becoming a successful lawyer, like that's groundbreaking. That's stuff that you don't see or you didn't see at the time.
He was a very like creative guy and very very breaking in that aspect. And I think he was just overall he seemed to be a very nice and kind person.
Yeah,
I think he genuinely had. He's one of the greats, man. He was a good guy.
Yeah,
I mean, cool guy.
It's funny. We actually owe as much of it was we owe to Stan for having the creativity. We owe pretty much all of the Marvel universe to his wife.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if last year when his wife passed away, he
that was only last year.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was a couple years ago.
No,
last year.
statistically, people that are his age,
Men.
men. No, it can be women too.
No, it's generally men
Is
though.
that-
It's men if their wives pass
If
before they do. Men don't generally last
Last a
very
year.
long. Yeah.
If they last a year, they're good. If they don't last the year, they won't.
But the thing was that Joan, right? Joan
Joan.
Lee, yeah.
Yeah. She was British. I did not know that until I looked up an interview with her.
I also didn't know that Stan didn't do Captain America. Not a clue.
Huh.
I never knew that. That's Kirby and someone else. I forgot who.
Joe Simon.
Yeah, forgot all about that.
But the thing was that Stan was working for Marvel at the time, or I think it was still called Timely Comics. No.
Which story are you telling?
He's talking to Joe Quesada, and Joe Quesada was asking him about how did you wind up creating the Marvel, you were just a writer, you weren't like in charge, you weren't in charge of any of the things. So he was telling him, he's like, yeah, well, the thing was that actually no, it was they were called Marvel at the time. He came home one day and his wife was like, well, what's wrong? Like she knew something was bothering me. He says, well, the thing is that I keep wanting to tell all these stories. I have these great stories I want to tell, but they keep like shooting them down and they won't let me write them. They won't let me, publish them. And he's like, I think I'm just going to quit. And she goes, well, don't do that. He goes, well, what do you mean? She's like, and she said to him, go in, write the story anyway. She goes, what do you have to lose? If you write the story and it goes through and they fire you, you were going to quit anyway. And he goes, yeah, you have a point. So he went in and he wrote Fantastic Four. And Fantastic Four got published, and that was, as they would say, history. That was, that was a big thing. And I always love the story he tells, it's one of my favorite stories he always told was how he created Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
or how he got Spider-Man published. He went to his editor and said, "Hey, I have this idea for a character. I want to call him Spider-Man. And he's a teenager who, and he went through the whole spiel. And his editor looked at him. And he goes, well, Stan, that's a terrible idea. He's like, you can't call a character Spider-Man. People don't like spiders. People are afraid of spiders. That's a horrible name for a character. And he can't be a teenager because teenagers aren't heroes. They're sidekicks. Like they can't like do things on their own. Because this is, we're not publishing this." And he let it sit for a while, and then they were canceling Amazing Fantasy. Amazing Fantasy 15 was the last issue of Amazing Fantasy because the book wasn't selling.
Mm-hmm.
So he just decided he was going to put it in the book because no one cared what went into a book that was getting canceled.
Right.
So he got together with Steve Ditko, and he went to Jack Kirby first. And he was, he said, "Hey, Jack, I need you to can you create this character? I don't want him to look heroic. I want him to just look like a normal guy." And he said, as much as Jack Kirby tried, he's just used to drawing Captain America style characters, these big heroic looking guys. So he went to Steve Ditko, and Steve Ditko drew the character Stan was looking to have drawn. So they did the book, they got it in there. And, at the time, you had to wait months before you even knew what the numbers were on a book. So he's like 3 months later, his editor walks into his office. He goes, "Hey, Stan, you remember that Spider-Man character we liked so much?" He goes, "Well, this book's selling so well, so you're doing a series now."
How about that?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to think like how a lot of these things started. And
Well, even MJ, the only famous line MJ has, "Face a tiger, you hit the jackpot." That came from his wife.
yeah,
That was like a retelling of a scene within their life.
it's always funny because they
And she's like, I'm not like I was about to say she was lovely, as if like I personally knew her, but I didn't. But like anytime you ever saw them together for interviews,
Oh yeah.
oh my god, were they not like the cutest little thing that ever existed?
Yeah, no, I mean it's and that was the thing, and Stan, I think, Stan was just he was a great creator, and you say what you want, but at the end of the day, Stan, there wouldn't be a Marvel Comics without Stan at all.
No.
No way. Not at least not to the capacity that we see it now. I honestly don't think comic books would be what they are
No.
today without Stan.
Because
Nope.
even DC started looking and they were like, okay, well, what is Marvel doing that we're not?
Yeah.
That's when you started getting a humanistic.
Yeah, but that wasn't until the 80s. The dawn of the Silver Age comic was Showcase 94? Was
No,
that
I'm
the
not
first
sure.
appearance of Barry Allen? Or was it Showcase 93?
I am not sure.
Well, either way, whichever issue was the debut of Barry Allen is the official start of the Silver Age of comics.
Okay.
And that's when you got Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and Hulk and all that stuff. And it was just you look at anything that with the start of the Marvel universe, and you can go back and you can read stories from there, and they're as impactful today as they were then. You read Silver Age DC, and it's literally they didn't take it seriously. They were comic books for children.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they were. They weren't meant to be anything more than funny books.
Yep.
Where Marvel Comics was really they made it an art.
One Christmas, God, I still have it somewhere. I got this like it's this like rectangular box, and it has an art book in it, and then 3 VHSs. Will, a VHS.
Oh my god. I grew up with VHS. I'm not that young.
Anyway, and it had like, I don't even know what era. It must have been 70s cartoons, but it was the Marvel one, so there was a Thor cartoon, a Namor cartoon,
Yeah,
and a cat.
those were I think were actually 60s.
Was it 60s?
Yeah, because those were the Merry Marching Marvel Society cartoons.
Whatever.
It was basically just the comic books animated.
But whatever.
Oh my god, I've seen one of those. There was an Avengers one that a guy on YouTube named Mr. Sunday Movies did. It was so funny.
It was
Oh my
it was
God.
so fun because Stan narrated.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you got like I think it was like a 5-10 minute
I think we should.
thing on how the episode was made, and I was like, this is friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I fell in love with this. It still works, I'm sure, but
I think to honor Stan, we should do our first, because I know when we originally started, you wanted to do some commentary tracks over stuff.
Yeah.
I think to honor Stan, the first thing we should do is do something that was Stan narrated, and I had an idea that we should do the original pilot for the original intended X-Men series.
oh, can you pick
where
me?
Wolverine's Australian.
That's
No,
That one,
pick me.
I want to do it. Can we please just watch it the whole way through?
I will allow that, but we have to watch, if we're doing that, we have to watch one episode of Stripperella.
Why?
that was created by Stan
That was
Lee.
created by Stan Lee.
Alright.
That was created by Stan Lee for
Fair
Pamela
enough.
Anderson.
For Pamela Anderson
Spike
for
TV.
Spike TV. I loved that show.
Oh
That
man.
does not surprise you.
Another
So good. So absurd. and
Another really
stupid.
fun Stan story, though, for me personally, was actually the year I met Stan. I went down, and it was I forgot which New York Comic Con I went to. It was obviously not the first one. It was like later ones, but I went all out because I actually bought the Stan ticket. It actually guaranteed you a meeting with Stan Lee.
That's pretty
it was
cool.
a meet and greet, and you could get stuff signed. And I remember,
When'd you get signed?
Amazing Spider-Man issue, I believe it's 74. It's the last 12-cent issue of Spider-Man.
What happened in it?
It's the Silvermane story with the tablet of life, or it's so I brought that down, and I had that for years because my aunt gave it to me. She found a bunch of old Spider-Mans, and she gave it to me. And I went up, I got him to sign it, and you got to say hi, you got to say a couple words to him. You didn't really get to talk to him, but I did get my picture taken with him. And what wound up happening later that weekend was John Romita Sr. and Jr. were both signing at a booth, and they had this. It's actually disappointing because I didn't get to hear him say this. Crystal did. My wife Crystal went up because they split the line because John Romita Jr. was late. And it was really funny because John Romita Sr. was busting his stones when he got there. He's like, he's like, do you know how old I am? And I'm the one who's on time? What are you doing? And he's like, Dad, stop. And they were just going back and forth for a little bit. But what happened was because they didn't know when he was going to be there, they said, hey, if anyone has anything to sign for just John Romita Sr., you can come up now, but we can't guarantee you a spot in line for John Romita Jr. So and at that point, we weren't even sure if he was coming, so I just sent Crystal up with the John Romita Sr. book, which was the last 12-cent issue of Spider-Man. And she went up, and she handed it to him, and he looked at it and looked at her, and he goes, it's a story of my life. I'm always signing underneath Stan.
Nice.
And Crystal, my wife, did not miss a beat. She looked right at him and said, you can sign above his name if you want.
That is such a beautiful Crystal comment.
That's pretty. I mean, logically,
yeah. I was. So when John Romita Jr. got there, I got to go up and I got other stuff that I had both of them sign because there was a New York Comic Con exclusive cover that year that they both drew for Spider-Man. And the thing was when I went up, the guys who were monitoring the booth were like, "Oh no, you only get to have 2 things signed per person." And I was like, "Okay." And I had stuff in my hand, and I was handing it to him, and John Romita Jr. looked at me, looked at his dad, and they looked at the comics, like, how many books do you have? I was like, I have a couple, but they only said, he goes, no, just give them to me. And he just starts just furiously signing his name. It was great. It was actually like one of the most fun like experiences like I ever had going to New York Comic Con. As far as like having to wait online, like because now the lines now like, I mean an hour. I had to wait like an hour for John Romita Senior and Junior.
Come on.
But the lines now are ridiculous.
Come on,
yeah.
the one year we went to Baltimore for,
Or we were standing in line for 2 hours.
what
3.
was it Jeff Lemire or was it
No, it was Jeff Oh,
where I started just disintegrating? Where you and Nick kept like going and doing your thing and then coming back to see how I was
oh
doing.
no, that was the Finches.
Oh my god, my brain at that line. All I wanted to do was see Meredith. That's all I wanted because she wrote a very delightful Wonder Woman that I liked. That I was one of the only people. And the line guard finally, after like 2.5 hours, is like, "Who wants to just see Meredith?" My hand went up so fast. I was like, I am an emotional puddle.
Yeah, but that was here's the ridiculous thing. So Meredith Finch, they're sitting right next to each other, Meredith and David, because David drew all the Meredith Finch Wonder Woman issues. So if you went up to Meredith, she signed however many books you wanted. If you went up to David, he signed like one book, and then every book after that was $5 each.
Nice.
And I was like,
I brought the entire
it was like
Wonder Woman run.
what was it like?
oh,
20
jeez.
issues?
Yeah,
No, maybe it wasn't. No,
it might have been 15.
yeah, like, and it was so funny because actually it was like one of those moments. It's like one of those moments when you like know you've caught like these people on a bad day, like the artists and writers. David Finch, actually Steve, tell it because it's your story.
So because you know what, Meredith Finch is not really a well-known writer. You know, she's done some here or there things for Zetascope, Dynamite, but this was her big thing was Wonder Woman, and Devon's rubbing his nipples.
I have to explain it to all our listeners out there.
Yep. So when I enjoy someone, I gush, and I kind of go off on verbal diarrhea. And I was like, oh my god, I love you. I love this arc. I cried like a child at the end of it. And I looked at David and said, your artwork is very lovely too. He just doesn't even look up at me. He goes, yep, thanks.
Nice.
And like this really like, because that was the thing, he was charging for sketches. It was $100 for a body sketch. His hand, I'm doing air quotes, his hand got tired. So then it was $100 for a face sketch.
Oh, wow.
And the thing about David is that he doesn't take commissions; he just does them on the spot, which is why whenever you wait in line for David Finch, it takes forever. Because he doesn't like. It's not like, oh yeah, just wait and I'll do it for you. No, he's like, he just starts signing and like sketching, and it's like, like listen, like, and here's the thing,
the man's talented.
Yeah, and here's the thing, I mean, like, and that's the thing, like catching him on a bad day because I met David Finch. Which
was hilarious
when he was
the opposite.
I did have the opposite. When I went down the one year for New York Comic Con, I saw David was in the Artist Alley and he was with his wife. This was before she was writing for comics. So I went up and I was talking to him for like 15 minutes. And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, hey, listen, I work at a comic book store in New Paltz, right up in upstate New York. And I'd be really interested to talk to you and see if you'd be like able to come and do like a signing. And I go to hand him the card for the store. And Meredith, she stops me and she goes, I'm sorry, he only has time to do conventions because every other free time he has to be home with his family. Like, really pointedly. And I was kind of like, and he kind of did one of these. He was like, I was like, okay.
Because were you with me when I saw her?
No.
It was Nick then. She could not have been more lovely.
Well, I also think that at that point she didn't really understand the kind of stuff he was going through as an artist. Like, I think she learned it once she started having to do the deadlines for like Wonder Woman. Because now she's actually writing other indie books and everything, which is cool.
Yeah, Rose is doing really well.
Is she still writing Rose?
Yeah.
Okay. It's Image, so it's creator owned. Yeah. She's not writing Xena anymore.
No, because Xena ended.
Yeah. But yeah,
sorry, we went on.
Yeah, no, we did, but it's just fun things when you meet a lot of these creators, and I don't think there's ever been a creator as fun to meet as Stan Lee.
It's actually,
of course,
really semi-comical because your thing with Ramita
Yeah.
is very similar to a conversation I had with Amy Chu about Frank Cho. It's very one of my the one Deja Thoris that I have that he did the cover for.
Yeah.
She just goes to me and she's like, I swear to God, I think he purposely signs it so big so I have to be underneath him. And I was like, just go on top of Deja Thoris. And she goes, okay. And she just like, it's not like heavy, but like it's on her back. Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I mean that's the thing, and did you guys catch the thing that what Bill Maher was saying the other night about Stan Lee and comic books in general?
No.
Oh yeah, he went on this whole like tirade, and like people were not happy
Why?
because he basically insulted everybody who was like mourning the fact that Stan Lee passed away.
What? There were a few because I heard a little bit of this one.
Yeah.
And then I heard about the one actor. I cannot think of his name.
Oh,
That is chastising people.
Army Hammer.
Army Hammer, thank you, because
What?
they are posting selfies with Stan, and he feels that is disrespectful. If anyone, like, I don't even know this man, like, at all. Like, yes, it hurts, but I don't physically know him.
He was slotted to play Batman at one point.
No, not Army Hammer. Stan Lee.
Oh.
I don't know this man I've never met him, obviously, but the man did know how to work a crowd and did know his fans.
Yeah.
And I feel like he made them feel special.
Of course.
So what is, like, who the hell cares if you're posting selfies?
Yeah, I mean, what you're posting in remembrance of someone. That's
of a time in a very small time.
Yeah.
A moment, really, in your life that you got to meet someone that you idolized, or that you are thanking because of the world that they helped shape and create.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Armie Hammer, screw you.
What did Bill Maher say?
So Bill Maher went on this whole thing about, oh yeah, so Stan Lee passed away, and the country's in mourning, for a guy who wrote comic books, someone who didn't really do anything real. Like that's basically the gist of that's basically the gist of what he said, and he's like, and he's going on about how like there's other catastrophes happening in this world, and that's what we're mourning. We're taking time to mourn some writer.
Lord.
And he's like, and he was going on about how
What
he
was
didn't.
his apology? That's what I want to know.
He didn't. He didn't.
Screw him.
He sits there and then he sits there and starts attacking comic book fans in general. He goes, well, listen, I got nothing against comic books, but the thing is that comic books are for kids, and when you grow up and you become an adult, like that was when you like learn to read real books.
Oh,
and he was like, he goes, but it's and this was an actual quote. Well, I'm paraphrasing, but it was basically something along the lines of, yeah, and somewhere along the line, people decided that they could still be kids even though they're adults, and then they started like pretending that comic books were real literature.
It's
And then he said, and the reason why is because all these losers became professors and started writing essays about comic book characters.
nice.
And I was like, what is wrong? Like, and here's the thing. And then someone actually, I forgot, like, what was a comment in one of the things, like, of the article, and someone said it, and it's more true than anything else. No one, when Bill Maher passes away, no one's gonna, for the second that it happens, everyone's gonna remember Real Time with Bill Maher. People are still gonna be talking about Stan Lee 100 years from now. Mm-hmm. Stan Lee is like this generation, the last, like, 5 generations Mark Twain.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing he created, in the time of his heyday that isn't still remembered and important.
Mm-hmm.
So on more happy news about that, not happy, but like on more don't be such a D-bag news about that, did Marvel announce what they were planning in Remembrance?
I know right now what they're going to be doing is they're going to be doing a lot of covers for the next couple of
I
months.
saw that. I was hoping for a little bit more.
I think we're going to. I think we're going to.
Oh wait, this Bill Maher?
Yeah, the only
Yeah.
Bill Maher.
That guy?
Douchebag.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I didn't know if he could. Man, that's disappointing. I've seen a couple of his things, and I was like, oh, he's all right. And then
yeah,
then
but
he
that's
goes
the thing.
on that.
But that's the thing. Every time I've ever watched a thing where I hear something Bill Maher, I was like, oh wow, that's actually kind of insightful. That's actually, and then he says like 10 things where I go, wow, you are the worst
You
human
had
being.
me in your corner right up until the end.
Yep. And this is it. Like this is like one of those things where I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
What was the point, man? You can't just let.
Oh, I think he's just. You know, he's a.
It's still like the things that are going on now have been going on for a while, and no
Yeah.
one's gonna. That's the thing, is that all the celebrities and everything is just gonna, like, I don't mean to go on this little rant, but like everyone's gonna say like the bad things are happening, but I mean like. In
You
all
need
reality,
moments
if
like
everybody
Stanley.
got up and solved the issue all at once, we'd be fine. But nobody's going to do that, and everyone's going to concentrate on their own little world and do their own little thing, and this is just what's going to happen. And a lot of people cared for this writer, this man
Yeah.
who, like, influenced pop culture as we know it today, because these characters, these things he had a huge hand in, are so, like, popular now.
But they're so inspiring. Yeah. They really are. They show you the characters he created and the stories he wrote. I mean that's the whole reason that he created the X-Men. He said in an interview years ago that the reason why he created the X-Men was to show you that just because someone was different didn't mean they were evil.
Mm-hmm.
That's
we got Black Panther first.
Yeah.
Black superhero.
You know,
He didn't have a hand in creating Black Panther himself, did he?
Yeah, he did.
I don't know if he did or not. Well, he did first appear in Fantastic Four.
Yeah, he created.
I don't know. I don't know if he did create the Black Panther. I know that it was created in Fantastic Four. I'm just not sure.
I think he created him.
But regardless, it was all the characters they're inspirational. I mean, just look at Captain America. A man at a time, a guy who lost decades of his life and his friends, and is now like, how that to persevere through things like that. Just everything that they're able to do is
that's one of the things that, because like everyone sits there and they talk about Wolfman and what's the other one for Titans? It's Wolfman and
Perez. But real quick, you were right. It was Stanley.
So.
Stanley and Kirby created Black Panther.
But everyone sits there and they talk about how Perez and Wolfman like brought the soap opera element into comic books. I agree they did it for DC. But Marvel was already doing it. Like, you had the real life events that were happening to these real characters.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think that, I think that's also, but I definitely agree with that, and I think that one of the things with DC is that I feel like I've always felt that DC has always been pure escapism. Mm-hmm. Because there's nothing that these characters go through that you can relate to.
We should clarify. This is no dig at DC.
No
comparison in terms of like contrasting. Like that's a bad thing.
Like I said, I love Batman. I love
They're
Green
two
Arrow.
sides of the same coin.
Yeah,
but like you like looking at both sides because you like some variety. Sometimes it's heads, sometimes it's tails. You don't know.
But the thing is, like, and that's the thing though, like, and I think that's also one of the reasons why some people, maybe prefer reading DC over Marvel, because you don't want to think about your normal everyday problems. But the thing I always felt that Marvel did really well was it taught you kind of how to deal with stuff. Yeah. It helped you through things.
I mean, look at even look at the X-Men. If the X-Men aren't a symbol for, because when did the X-Men come out? 60s, right?
Yeah, 60s.
If the X-Men weren't a symbol for Black oppression,
well, I think it wasn't just that. I mean, in general, it was a commentary on racism.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
You had your Martin Luther King v. Oh my God, why am I forgetting his name?
Charles Xavier.
No, Martin Luther King versus
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X. Yep.
I thought you were going to be your Martin Luther King character.
Yeah,
and I was like, played by Charles Xavier? Like, I'm
as
waiting
Charles
for more.
Xavier. Like, it was so in depth into that like metaphor there. It's one of the best like
Yeah.
commentaries you can get. Like if you look at it, like it was and it was like hidden enough. You know, there's stuff that's like, you know, like it's something you can enjoy
Yes.
without having to think about it, but it's also like it's good to be there because it implants that thought.
I love when things like that happen. The last time, and I'm getting a little preachy on this, the last time that I felt that similar way, me and your wife watched Zootopia.
Yeah.
That movie is brilliant.
It is.
It is so underrated, and everyone should be forced to watch it, like Clockwork
I
Orange.
liked it. I thought it was
Like
pretty
the
good.
Clockwork Orange eye trap.
Yes.
I thought the fluffy thing, or was it cute? It was cute.
Cute.
Yeah.
But no, I thought that
She's
was
like,
a purpose.
ooh, you can't call me cute. Only
Yeah.
other animals that can be called cute can call me cute. And you knew what it was.
Yeah,
the joke
but
was
that's
about,
the
and I was like,
thing.
wow, all right.
But that was the thing that I loved, and that's very much
It
what-
also featured an REM song, even though it's not
Yeah.
one of my favorites. I was like, yes, because when she's flipping through the channels, when she's really sad, Everybody Hurts is one of the... Because she keeps flipping the channels, and it's all sad songs, and Everybody Hurts comes on. And I was watching...
Everybody hurt.
Yeah, I watched... I don't like CinemaSins, but I watched the one for that just to see if they mentioned it. And the joke they did for that sin was, let me guess, RAM, because it spells Ram.
I was
what?
did you watch Big Mouth?
Yes, both seasons.
Everybody bleeds.
Yeah, I don't know why they switched like the key.
Yeah.
So he's like singing it like everybody bleed, but it took me a minute to realize that the standing singing tampon was supposed to be Michael Stipe.
Yeah.
And I was like,
really? You didn't figure that out?
yeah, as like a dedicated I think I realized it once they left the bus and they started going on the highways. I was like, this is just the Everybody Hurts music video. Like
So-
I caught it.
The other thing too is
Sorry, we went way off topic.
no, it's fine. It's just one of the other things too that was with the X-Men is when I was growing up, that was my thing. That was Spider-Man, X-Men, Batman. That was my jam. That was my
The Holy Three.
yeah. Those were my weekdays coming
Yeah.
home from school. And when I got older, when I was in high school and we started learning about like the civil rights movement and everything else, I kind of sat there. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, this is
is
X-Men.
X-Men.
This is everything
Just without
in
powers.
X-Men. Like, yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh my god, like Stan and Marvel was teaching me things.
Yeah.
I mean, not
I don't
not
think-
even intentionally, because
That's what I
that
was just
stuff
gonna
that was
say.
current events
Yeah,
for them.
yeah.
They were just writing about current events.
Yeah, and
There was a lot of like good like
Yeah.
sci-fi was doing that too.
Yeah.
But it's and for me, one of the refreshing things that I am enjoying about this moment, and I'm sorry, like I know that sounds really weird and morbid. I'm enjoying going on Instagram and I'm enjoying seeing everyone's post with this man. I'm enjoying seeing writers and creators who I love posting, sharing. Did you see the one that the chick that plays Daisy with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did?
No.
Oh my god, I started misty-eyed because it was a video of when she got to meet him. Friggin' adorable.
One of the ones I've liked recently
Misty.
was the
I didn't mean
was
Misty,
the
I meant the other one.
No, it's
Daisy.
misty-eyed.
Yeah, but I thought I said I thought I said Misty as in the character, not Daisy.
no, but the I think it might have been New York Times. So it looks like a New York Times kind of cartoon. It's the one where Stan, he's in the clouds and he has his bag with him and it says Stan Lee, and then you just see in the clouds the words say, "Hey kid, you're pretty good at creating universes too." And I was like,
Oh,
I was like,
that's the feel.
I saw
Yeah.
one that was him and he was at the gates of heaven and Jesus was there and he's like, another cameo Stan, and he goes, no, this one's a full-length picture.
That's amazing. The one that
That's actually something I can hear Stan
Yeah.
saying that.
Yep.
The one that gets me, and it's, first of all, I do have to say this, it is beautifully done. Like, it really is. It's the Marvel characters as they're lowering Stan into the ground, and they're all, like, along the coffin. and Spider-Man is just losing his mind. Like, he's just crying on top of the coffin. And you have Thor in the background punching a tree. And I think Scarlet Witch is putting a rose on the cat. Like, it's like a kind of like a Last Supper, but burial. And it's well done, but I'm like, a little too soon. Maybe lighten it up.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not.
very, like...
Well, no,
I can't imagine what Marvel's gonna do for this.
The thing is, I don't feel like you need to lighten it up because it's literally, it's those are his children.
Yeah.
That's how those.
It was just jarring when I
and
first saw
the
it.
thing was is like one of the there's been some of them that I've kind of that they're a little.
Did you see the Toy Story one?
No.
Yes.
It's the end of Toy Story 3 where Andy's giving his toys to the little boy, and it's Stanley giving the little girl. It's Stanley giving all the toys, the Marvel characters to Kevin Feige. And he's like, "These are my These are my characters. I'm giving them to you.
Please take
because
care
I'm
of
gonna
them.
leave them. Please take care of them." And then he drives away, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
When they did the Death of Ultimate Spider-Man, the cover, it was a red bagged issue when they did the Death of Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Peter, and when you opened up the bag, the cover that was in there, it was Peter walking with Uncle Ben into the light, with Uncle Ben saying, "You did good, kid," and they redrew it with Spider-Man Ultimate Spider-Man walking with Stan into the light, and Spider-Man saying, "You did real good, kid," and I was like.
Stop! I'm gonna cry.
My follow-up question, and not that he overly did much for them, but is DC doing anything for it?
Probably. They did post about it.
Yeah, they made a couple of statements about
they
it.
did
Yeah.
on their YouTube channel, on that daily show they have. They at first they were like, "Yeah, Stanley's gone." I don't know if they're gonna do anything comic book based. They might do a little dedication in the back like they did with Steve Ditko.
Yeah, but Steve Ditko also worked for them.
That's true. But I think since it's Stan Lee, like it's very like they also like DC never shared Stan Lee with Marvel, but they like
Marvel never shared never mind, go on.
I mean, yeah, depending whichever way you phrase it. They were never shared, but I feel like Stan Lee is so big now. He's the biggest.
Stanley did work for them though.
Did he work for them?
He
When?
did it was called Just Imagine Stan Lee, and he redid like all the
All the
DC
characters.
characters, like how he would have done them.
Oh, that's very interesting. I would like to see that.
I think that was
eventually.
when he was fighting with Marvel, wasn't it?
No, I don't know if he was
Maybe
ever
around
really
that
fighting
time.
with Marvel. I don't remember much of it, but
The other things that I wanna bring up, because when way back in the day, children, before Marvel was actually like this amazing universe, you had the random movies like X-Men.
And the Tobey Maguire
the
Spider-Man
Tobey
and the
Maguire
Fantastic
Spider-Man
Four.
and Fantastic Four. But it was like one of those things where me and my family used to make a game out of it. Where was Stan Lee? Because in the beginning, it was hard to find him. Mm-hmm. He is difficult to find in that first X-Men movie.
That's right. Where was he in the
He's
first
on
one?
the beach when Senator Kelly. He's the
Ah,
hot
right.
dog truck.
Yep, the
but
hot dog tip.
they don't zoom in on him. He's just there. And it's one of those things where like it was difficult. Like I didn't know he was in that.
back in the day. I think it was like the 70s or 80s. His first cameo was a Hulk film called like Trial of the Hulk.
He
was on the jury.
Yep.
But I think one of my favorites is the one in. I know not a lot of people like this one, but in X3 when he's with his wife during the Phoenix scene in the house.
Where Jean's like making everything
when the hose goes up.
He's not with his wife, is he?
No.
Yeah. No, not in X-Men 3. I think it's in Apocalypse.
Right.
Okay, I was
it's
gonna
an
say
Apocalypse.
it's not an
Yeah,
X-Men. Because
right. Speaking
But
of Stan's wife, okay, I'm gonna get this and send it to you so you can put it on the video
I'm gonna cry.
because this is heartbreaking. It's
Devin's crying.
Doctor Strange opening a gateway to the afterlife, and there's a woman waiting, and Stan's walking through, which obviously is Joan.
Oh, let me see.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's sad, but happy.
Yeah.
That's sad. Still sad.
Still sad. Still very sad. But yeah, I
gonna-
really like the one in. I guess it's Apocalypse. I get them
I have
confused
to
all the time.
rewatch that because I
but
don't remember him being in Apocalypse.
He's with Joan.
Was
Like
he
they
in
they
X-Men
brought her
2?
on set with him, and he's holding her.
Was
Yeah.
he in X2?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What?
X-Men 2?
He's been in every
Yeah.
one of them.
X-Men 2. He's in the mall when Pyro flips out and tries to
Right.
set the kid on fire.
Right in the beginning. Okay.
Yep, but he's in Gene's neighborhood in X3 too.
Well,
That's
that's
the one
what
with
I
the
got
hose.
confused about. That's the hose where he's where
But
he's watering
Apocalypse is the one he does with his wife, which I thought was very cute.
the That's sweet. I'd have to rewatch it now.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that movie.
Guardians. I remember they were iffy on whether Stan was going to be in Guardians or
Uh-huh.
not because he had absolutely no hand in the creation of
No,
the characters. But
he did. He created Groot and Rocket. Or Groot.
he said he had nothing to do with the Guardians.
He didn't have anything to do with the Guardians as they were then, because the original Guardians, it's not even.
It was like Yondu and all those.
Yeah, but it was,
characters,
and it
right?
took place in the year 3000.
Yeah.
It was in the future. But no, he did create Groot because Groot was one of the original Monsters Unleashed characters.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was. He actually Groot's first appearance was he was like terrorizing a city.
Of course he was. I am Groot as he knocks down a skyscraper.
lovely.
But no, like it's totally. I kind of want them to do. What was the one? Was it Heroes Reborn where Stan's like a physical character,
I don't know. I don't remember.
or was it? What was it? Because you were telling me that they were going to be like Stan came in to fix everything.
No, originally
What was that?
it was Heroes Reborn, or it was Heroes Return. It was after the Onslaught story where everyone died, and they relaunched everything under the new Heroes Reborn universe, and it wasn't doing well. So they were kind of like, hey, the sales aren't going well. How do we fix this? And they had like a room of writers, and they were all like, well, first things first is you have to acknowledge what you did, and you have to kind of make
You have to
amends with the
apologize.
fans. So the original plan, the original pitch, and I have this from a actual source who was there. He is part of his idea to pitch it this way.
Who?
I'm not going to say names. I don't know if I'm allowed to. I don't. Huh?
Never mind.
Anyway.
Never drop names unless you have permission.
Yeah, I don't know. I have permission for this, so I'm telling the story.
Okay.
And it's originally the pitch was that there were going to be two people walking on the beach, and they were going to find this kid passed out on the beach, and it was going to be Franklin. And Franklin was gonna. It was going to be the end of the first issue of Heroes Return, which was the bringing everyone back to the proper Marvel U, was going to be Franklin freaking out saying, "I'm so sorry. I tried to fix everything and I couldn't." And it was basically Marvel apologizing to the fans for thinking that they needed to fix their characters. And then it was going to be Stan Lee and Jack Kirby saying to him, "No, it's okay. We'll help you make it right." And like I was
That's what I would like to see happen. Like something little like that.
so that was, and I thought that was something really cool. That's not how they like wound up doing it because like the marketing came in and like, well, we can't be
We can't admit we were wrong.
we can't admit that we did something wrong. We can't apologize because the legal team started saying stuff like, oh yeah, well the problem is that then people will start thinking that they can return them, and it was like a whole mess.
The 90s was a bad time.
Oh
for,
yeah.
for Marvel.
For everybody, that was the crash.
Yeah, but DC survived it.
Yeah, they all barely survived it.
Didn't they sell some of their comics to like Image for a little while, or Image people were doing it?
Yeah,
or...
that was Heroes Reborn.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Rob Liefeld, everyone had tumor arms.
I saw there's a
Bulma.
Bulma.
They're the comic book YouTubers named Comic Pop. They did an episode of a show they have called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I actually met them at New York Comic Con, and I love those guys. They were very nice. And I told them about the show. They had done an episode featuring the first issue of the Captain America of that era. and they showed the art style of like all those muscles and weird tendons that didn't really belong where they were.
Thank you, Rob
And just the
Liefeld.
weird storyline of like Captain America like losing his memory or something. It was such a weird. I think that was voted the ugly one
Yeah.
out of all of them. They were so good.
Super, super off topic here.
Yeah.
But when you teased me this week and you were like, I think you're going to be happy with the cover that you gave me for Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah.
I sat there and I was like, for the love of Christ, please don't be the Rob Liefeld cover. I'm like, for the love of God.
I debated it actually. We
Did
did
you
get
really?
yeah. We gave. I forgot who we gave it to.
Why would
But-
you give me the Rob Liefeld
Because I
cover?
was looking at it and I was
It's
like,
actually not a bad cover compared
no, it's
to
not.
his normal
But well, the reason why I was thinking about giving it to you because that was your X-Men. That was the '90s
Yeah.
style. I wish Jim Lee did a cover for it, but I don't think he did.
God forbid.
Or if it might have been one of those like really like high end, like I had to order 1 million copies.
I
variant.
didn't see it.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see, like, there are some other
But-
covers I want.
But
But
then
wanted to see.
I looked at it, and the thing is that Finch is closer to Silvestri and Lee, and I was like, no, Steve will like this cover way better.
It's a
for Uncanny.
friggin' beautiful
Oh
cover.
yeah.
Mm.
I'm so happy that David Finch is doing more work for Marvel again.
He's just doing covers. He's not really.
I don't care. I don't need. That's the thing. I like when Finch does a book. I don't need it.
What's he doing now?
Nothing.
He's not doing anything.
Nope. He took a break after after Batman, and he has
Oh.
not done a damn thing other than covers.
What about no? You mean Wonder Woman?
No, Batman was before Wonder Woman.
Yeah. You said he took a break after Batman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman was before Batman.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. It was New 52. He was doing Batman with Tom King in the beginning.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He did do the first couple issues,
Mm-hmm.
and by first couple I mean the first two.
No, he did the first like 5, 6.
Did he?
He did the He finished the first arc.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, guys. I mean, so Stanley.
It happened.
That's
It-
listen.
yeah.
I mean, the big thing is that it's not like I'm surprised.
No,
It's not like
He
turning.
was 95.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's not like shock. It's not as shocking as like when like Steve Dillon died at 54. Like, holy.
Was that? Did he have a heart attack or was that lung cancer?
He was sick. That's all I remember them saying. I don't think the family ever actually released what happened to him.
I know it
To
was
Stanley or
speculated.
that guy.
Steve Dillon.
Steve Dillon. Yeah.
Oh,
My man smoked friggin' a pack of cigarettes a minute.
so probably something lung related. But
There's also a lot. There's also been rumor because I don't know if they actually ever released anything about what happened, but I know that there were rumors that they thought he killed himself.
Ooh.
But I don't know if that was ever substantiated because the last I heard was the family wasn't releasing any
Jesus Christ.
facts. But yeah, no. But yeah, again, like Stan was 95.
he lived a
and
full
Yeah.
he lived a long life and a happy one.
He influenced a
40 or how old is Marvel?
80.
At least let's go 60 years. The one
I'd
that
say 70.
yeah.
No, 70
He
because
started working for Marvel when he was like 19.
yeah, but he had his first big break at 32.
Wow.
That was when he wrote his first big comic was 32.
What was his
And
That's
that
why-
day he woke up
Fantastic
with a
Four.
mustache and
Well, that's
knew.
Yeah.
that's one of the things because when you talk to him about the early days, he's like, all people ever wanted was the westerns or the romance. Like, it's just
Yep.
so fun listening to him talk about like the era of comics before him.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Like,
and
it's
that's,
super
and that's like-
interesting.
and it's always fun because it's like and that was the thing. I mean, everything Stan did, I mean, there's also, Mike Jacoya, the owner of October Country Comics, his uncle Frank inked a lot of stuff for
Yeah.
Marvel during those times. I mean, he inked, he inked some old Kirby stuff. He inked a lot of, he inked like Invincible Iron Man #1. The cover of that is inked by Mike's uncle Frank Jacoya.
Wow.
And Frank would tell Mike stories that he'd be walking by the office and the door would be open and Stan would be standing on his desk posing like holding something to like make it look like he was holding a hammer for Thor and Jack Kirby's just sitting there sketching like crazy, like trying to like keep up with Stan, because Stan's like, no, I want the panel to look like this, and they gotta be fighting like this.
Yeah, you hear all those legend stories about Stan just like acting out the comic book, and it would have been really cool to like see that in action.
Yeah. Oh, a funny side note is that one of the things Mike saw when he was a kid, when he went over his uncle's, and his uncle inked Spider-Man 101. The cover of Spider-Man 101 was Morbius fighting Six-Armed Spidey. So he goes, and so his uncle looked at me and goes, "You want to see something cool?" And he showed it to him, like, I forgot how many months before the book actually came out, but he showed it to him, and Mike was like, What is that? What's going on?" And he's like, "You'll have to wait and find out like everybody else."
Whoa.
And wouldn't tell him what was actually happening in the book.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
So, it's... And there's so much crazy stuff, man. I mean,
The one that I'm gonna be like really, really, really upset about is Claremont.
yeah.
When Claremont bites it, I'm gonna be really like, cause like Stan, like I'm not gonna lie, Claremont, I need you to last like 5 years. Like I need a 5-year gap between you and Stan.
How old is Claremont?
Up there.
I'd imagine. Not as up
I don't think
there,
he's as
but-
old as Stan. I think he's
No.
probably in his
Little-
late 70s.
I was gonna say
But-
he's in his late 80s.
Yeah?
Stan, I think he'd be very content.
The man, literally.
Like I think he was.
Who?
Yeah.
Like I know he had some like really like bad drama before he went
Yeah,
regarding
he
his
had
like
a-
family and his life rights and
Well, I think
people
he
that
had
were
a,
taking
he had,
care
he
of
had a
him.
rough year without his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's once again.
And I think that's one of those things is that his wife, from what I saw, even before she passed, she seemed like she was a little bit more spry than he was.
Yeah.
Well,
And
wasn't she younger than him?
I believe so, yeah.
She looked younger than him.
But I think one of the things is
I want to
that
say she was in her teens when he was in his like late 20s.
maybe. But the thing was is that she
You gotta
I
start
feel like
fact-checking.
she's one of those. I think she's like one of the people like in a family that like kind of keeps the peace.
Yeah.
Like when they're around, like people aren't gonna start getting uppity.
yeah.
And I feel like she might have been that piece of the family.
Mhm.
Whereas like when she passed, then his daughter and him started arguing
I was
more.
gonna ask if he had children. I didn't know if he did or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know that. I don't know how many.
I just
It's the funny thing was they and I think it's also like you might have to put a link to this video since I've referenced it so much. The interview last year at San Diego with Kassandra and Stan Lee, where Kassandra was interviewing Stan Lee. Stan tells a story how he met his wife,
this is a sweet story.
and he
I've heard that from his wife's point of view.
It's also, I think, when she passed, Cassandra put it in the back of because they did do it. They did a tribute for her, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
And one of the things was like, he, I guess he wasn't, I don't remember the story exactly, but it was something like his buddy had told him, hey, there's this really nice girl, go up to this office and ask for her, and I've already told her, you're gonna be coming by so you can meet her and you guys can go out and have have lunch or something. And Stan said he walked into the office, and behind the desk he saw the most stunning woman he'd ever seen in his life.
Mary Jane
And
Watson.
he goes up to her and he starts chatting her up, and they went out for lunch. And he goes, to this day I never actually met the woman I was sent up there to meet, but I've now married the woman of my dreams.
I mean, hey, stuff just happens like that, man.
So hey man, look, Stan, if you're able to hear anything we're saying, Godspead, and
Man,
Excelsior. Like,
Excelsior.
did you want to add to that?
yeah,
Yeah.
listen, I hope everything's going great for you.
of course, everything went well for him down here.
Yeah.
Like he lived I'd be content with that.
I'd be content with half of his life.
Right.
Like I'm literally
Yeah, no,
being,
you're-
I would be content with half of that life.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and you know what? Hey man, look, God bless him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a good guy. Just an all around like pretty swell dude.
Yeah.
From what I
Charming.
can tell.
is what a lot of celebrities like. That's the popular word that I keep
There
getting.
is my favorite photo of him so far that's been posted is the one that Chris Hemsworth did, of him wearing the Thor helmet and holding a Thor hammer,
Nice.
which was pretty cute.
I know Chris Hemsworth was the one who actually he was rallying all the co-stars of Marvel to do a memorial service for Stan
In costume.
dressed as their
That's
characters.
brilliant. That's amazing.
Yeah, and
That is.
I really hope they do it.
I think so.
Because they did a private. It's all private, right?
Well, yeah, they did a private ceremony but there's going to be a lot of memorials and stuff they're going to do publicly. But
That'd be hilarious. I'm sorry.
real quick though, before we move on to the rest of the news for the week is the day after Stan passed away, it was like pouring rain. It was a Tuesday. It was pouring rain all day, and I went on Facebook and someone had posted the reason why it was pouring rain and storming all day was because Thor was personally escorting Sam to Valhalla.
Oh,
Yep.
that's sweet.
Yeah. That's nice. That's good. It's good stuff.
Here, I thought it.
We're gonna miss you, Stan.
Indeed. Lord. Let's liven it back up.
Yeah,
the mood is just
Jesus.
dead.
All
I will let you know that we're an hour and 10 minutes in.
That's not bad.
So my suggestion is that we kind of just label this a Stan Lee like tribute episode and kind of finish it off with the new releases for the week. That's my recommendation. Just so that, we don't like overdo it and kind of just let it be like a Stan, like still like do the new releases. I can edit it so that they're first
like I said,
or last.
we don't really have, like I said, we only have like 3 new releases, so it's really just gonna be news this podcast.
But like how much news?
There's not much. Like I said, most of it's all just really just announcements of creative teams. We're not gonna take that long on it.
Like I'd rather not reach 2 hours this time, and we've got like less than 50 minutes.
It's fine. We'll be okay. I promise.
I have to pee.
So go pee because I can go for smoke.
Okay. I'm gonna pause it. Break time. Okay.
That's
Here
the
we
one
go.
thing I realize that's the one thing I don't have to worry about this year.
Here we go.
Black Friday setup.
All right.
You.
All right. So
I have a lighter topic.
Yeah, later topics. Moving.
End of it. Don't worry. She'll
Oh,
come around
yeah,
for
yeah,
both of you or something.
Don't worry.
How much did we lose?
Oh, don't say that.
Just when we started recording.
Oh, okay.
So
So
we
we
didn't get any
should-
of the start of the news, and
Yeah.
It's okay.
We didn't-
Just do it again.
we didn't get Tony
seconds.
Stank.
Just do it again. Tony Stank.
Tony
Stank.
What kind of weird? Like, were you grabbing your nipples when you said that?
No, I was scratching my
Oh,
chest.
because I was looking
I
down at my
still-
phone and I just see like your hand move across your body.
I don't know, but like I was saying, I mean, one of my favorite cameos is when he's on the school bus in Infinity War, and he goes, what's wrong with you kids? Have you never seen an alien invasion before?
I hope he has a bigger role in Avengers 4.
Well, they said they pre-filmed some
Yeah.
cameos.
Oh,
for
yeah,
him,
no.
right?
They have all of his cameos lined up for the next few films.
Yeah.
But I kind of... I don't know. I think it would be poetic justice if it ended at 4 because it's such
the
an
end of the era.
I think
yeah.
it would be
I-
so weird if it ended at like Black Panther 2 or like Spider-Man Far From Home.
I would
Like that'd be
really-
weird.
I would
Yeah.
really like for them to do the take that they did for the Netflix shows, and even Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, where they have like flyers and
Flyers or
posters.
his photo, like
yeah.
in Cloak and Dagger, she's at this or Dagger's at this rich guy's apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Stan Lee's face in an Andy Warhol kind of painting,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I think what I would actually rather them do is just take all the cameos, since it's gonna be a 3-hour movie, and just intercut them at different point, and just make Stan the Watcher.
I
Just
think
solidify
so.
the fact that he is the Watcher.
I think
feel
when they're
like if
trying
he
to
was
defeat
younger-
Thanos at the last minute, the Watcher brings them out, but it's Stan. And
Yes.
he's like, you have to do it for the save the universe. And it'll be like,
The
it'd
save
be
the
so great.
universe.
And then the montage of him at the end, or the whatever dedication they do at the end of the film, is just going to be like, Because I see memes about that already, like, everybody, it's just like pictures of people crying, and it's like when the Rip Stan Lee, like, pops up at the end of Avengers 4.
The end. I think they're gonna open the movie with like a special 20-minute tribute. The end.
Actually, now that
wishful
movies,
thinking.
No.
the past
Fathom events.
the past 2 or 3 movies I've seen have had like 10-minute introductions of like, this is how we made the movie. Like starting with Incredibles 2, because they were like,
What
it
was the
takes a
other- what was the
long
other one?
time. Oh my god, what was the last movie I just watched? Freddie Mercury, Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian
didn't-
Rhapsody had it.
No, they didn't.
Not really. They had like a quick thing where he was like, "Hey, I'm the guy who plays Freddie Mercury. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming to see the movie."
I think the
I
guy
just-
that played Brian May was in that. But
I just,
still.
you know what I want? I want it to be like when me and Devon went to go see Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
Mhm.
No.
Refresh yourself
Oh.
in the lobby.
Oh, yeah, they forgot to start the movie, so it just kept looping these ridiculous regal things like
No smoking. Silence yourself. The best one was refresh yourself in the lobby.
Fathom events, yellow, white, red.
Nice.
They literally looped it so much, Devon, because we were just reading them out loud. And then it was, Devon was just like, colors. Yellow, white, red.
Nice.
Circle shapes.
So anyway, the lighter side of the comic book industry right now. First up, we have there's gonna be a sequel or quote unquote spiritual sequel to Avengers No Surrender. It's gonna be the return of Voyager. She's gonna have her own team. It's Jim Zub, Mark Waid, and Al Ewing are reuniting to write the story. It's gonna be 10 issues long. It's called Avengers No Road Home.
Is it a weekly?
No, I think it's just. I think it's gonna be a monthly. They haven't really stated it yet. I know it starts in like February.
Okay.
But they already said that it's gonna be Voyager with her own team. She was one of the main characters from the Avengers No Surrender arc.
I remember that event.
I didn't read it.
It was it was good, but like it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, so it kind of like caught me off guard. But I think for what it was good.
Yeah,
I
but
wish that when they do weeklies, like they already have everything.
Yeah.
Because that's my problem.
Yeah. Well, especially if you have a weekly that gets delayed.
Yeah.
But no, like the team sounds pretty cool. It's gonna be Voyager, Hulk, Rocket Raccoon, Hercules, Scarlet Witch, Hawkeye, and Vision.
I do love.
Hercules,
Oh, maybe this will be the reuniting of Vision and Scarlet Witch.
It could be. I see it. Don't see. This also might be the reason why Chelsea Kane's book got canceled because if what she was gonna do with Vision didn't jive,
Didn't work with this.
Because if
Oh, the Vision book got canceled?
Yeah.
Oh, honey, where we
That
talked
sucks.
about it.
Really?
this was
Did
a
we?
while ago.
Yeah.
Like on the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we did.
No, we didn't. No.
No, we talked about it coming out.
Yes.
Well, for
Because
all
that was
those-
announced.
That's
that was
how I
announced
know.
All
at,
those
at
that-
San Diego.
For all those that rely on the October Country Comic podcast for your news, the Chelsea Kane Vision book got canceled.
No.
I'm gonna say sorry about it because I
I-
did love me some Chelsea Kane.
you know what? We have to get the Kevin Hart thing, where he's sitting there in his stand-ups. He's like, no.
No.
Oh my God.
That'll be one of the soundboard.
That'll be one of the
when we can-
soundboard things we
when I
use.
eventually get one.
But hey, yeah, listen, it sounds pretty cool. I'm excited for it. I like the team of writers. I like the
Yeah.
team of characters, and I thought the Voyager character had some cool things that could be fun later on in the books.
For me in my life, Mark Waid does no wrong. Only, and like, this is the thing. Yeah, I'm sure he's got some sort of misses somewhere in that world. But there was a guy at last Baltimore. Now the man moves his line. Like, let me word that. His
Yeah.
line is constantly moving. But there was a guy that literally unloaded two suitcases full of stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is where I die. Online, because this person had to get every little thing with Mark Waid's name attached. And he never complained.
Huh.
Didn't ask for a donation. Just,
That's cool.
no.
Well, that's the stuff that used to happen to me. I mean, I remember I wasn't even getting anything signed by Mark Silvestri. I was getting something signed for a friend of mine, and there were people literally in front of me with suitcases, duffel bags.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, oh, okay, they're just carrying around all their stuff. No, it was
For them.
they were filled just for Mark Silvestri. That was insane.
I snapped at someone on the Tom King line with Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of felt bad about it because later on we found out that he was actually from somewhere in Europe.
Oh.
That this is his vacation. Which, P.S. If you're walking, he literally had a suitcase full of Tom King stuff, and then he tried to cut me, and I was like, the line's behind me, buddy.
Well,
Back that up."
I thought it was gonna be like one of those things where people just start talking to you while you're standing in line because every once in a while I've actually had some good conversations with
too.
random people. Now, however, the
When they're bad.
like Monday night. Hey, have you guys watched the Detective Pikachu trailer yet?
Okay, so not only that, me and Devon went to go see Mask of the Phantasm. We're in the last row, middle of the aisle. There's at least 8 seats in between me and this person
Yes.
that are empty. And me and Devon are just randomly talking to each other. And this guy just cuts in, "Did you guys see Detective Pikachu yet?" "Yeah, I saw part of it. It looked cute." And he's just talking. I'm like, "Yep."
Oh yeah, no, there's some fun people out there. But yeah,
I
so
hope he's not listening.
Avengers No Road Home, 10 issues. Jim Zub, Mark Waid, and Al Ewing. Should be a fun time.
All good people.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, we had another announcement this week with the ending of Mr. Miracle, the Tom King and
It was a 12-part mini. It's fine.
I know.
Oh, okay. You were like,
why can't I think of the artist's name? Mitch Gerard, right?
is it?
I think that's
No, it's Adriana Mello.
no for Mr. Miracle.
Yes, that's Mitch Gerard. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Tom King, Mitch Gerard's Mr. Miracle ended this week. There is going to be a follow-up, which is
Prequel.
actually, it's a prequel, but it's a follow-up to their series to deal with Big Barda's past being trained by Granny Goodness on Apocalypse.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's a shorter series. I believe it's only going to be like 6 issues. But yeah, it's the writer is it's Cecile, right?
Stelio Cantos.
Stelio and Louise. Stelio
Cantos.
Ricky Spanish.
Anyway,
Sorry.
none of those people are writing this book.
Oh.
None of those people are real.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
well-
Wait! What was the one girl's name?
Jenny!
Sorry. Oh my god. This is where we spiral, guys.
Yes. No, it's going to be written by Cecilia Castellucci, and Adriana Mello is going to be the artist. So it sounds like it's gonna be cool. I mean, I like Big Barda as a character, and anytime
love
they have
the Furries.
anytime they have Granny Goodness in a book, it always makes your skin crawl.
Oh god, Tom King did such a good job with that.
I can hear the Justice League Unlimited voice in my head.
Oh my god, right?
Just come to Granny.
That
It was so unsettling.
That was the same voice as the Superman cartoon as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They
Hey,
didn't really recast a lot of people. Flash got recasted in between shows. I know that because I
Well-
watched the episode he's featured in Superman, and it's different. But
Well,
do,
yeah.
do they ever? Does Granny Goodness ever show up in Young Justice?
not yet. But I imagine they will be. She will be making an appearance. Given now that this one is supposed to be heavily involving Apocalypse and Darkseid, and somehow that's fitting into the meta-human storyline, meta-human
Darkseid
trafficking
is.
storyline, because at the end, G. Gordon Godfrey exits the boom tube and
Yeah.
and shows up, and Vandal Savage is there, and he's like, "Yeah, this Darkseid, we're all good for our invasion," and Darkseid's like, "Sick."
Yeah.
And
Well, God,
I
you
imagine
got-
we're gonna be seeing
That's what I want to see. I want to see Darkseid go sick.
Yeah.
sick shit, bro.
So another announcement this week was the announcement of Hulkverines.
Hulkverine.
Yes, Hulkverines.
Hulkverine.
Thank you for knowing my Bob's Burgers reference.
Oh no,
I thought it was Nutty
Nutty
Professor.
Professor.
No.
Hercules.
You gotta do the
Oh,
clapping.
it's the clapping.
The clapping,
yeah.
right?
Hercules,
Yeah.
Hercules.
No, in Bob's Burgers, it's Gene, and he goes tambourine.
Why was my reference older than yours?
I've actually never seen The Nutty Professor.
Really?
Get out.
No, I'm not done with this podcast.
No, there's
yet.
two Nutty Professors movies. I've only seen the one where he turns skinny.
I've seen
There's
some of the
three?
show. Yeah,
Oh,
There's
wow.
an original.
yeah. I've seen
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah, it's the second one he turns skinny, right?
No.
No, there's a black and white
There's
show.
a black and white original movie.
And then there's a TV show. The one
Oh.
with it.
And he was then he was white. He wasn't Eddie Murphy.
Oh.
But the Eddie Murphy one is very funny. I like the original Nutty Professor.
I've only
the
seen
second
the-
Nutty Professor is the one where he's about to get married, and he starts getting real conscientious about his weight again. So he like gives in to taking the buddy formula.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what's
So,
next?
Hulkverines.
Oh, that's
is,
right. Hulkverine.
It's going to be the epilogue. It's a 3-issue mini epilogue, essentially, to Weapon H, which is everybody who's been reading Weapon X or or the Weapon H book knows Weapon H is the product of all the DNA of Wolverine and the Hulk, and everyone who has a healing factor, essentially, combined into a cocktail and like
Shaken.
mutated this poor soldier into this,
All I have to say is anytime like cloning happens, like or
well, he's
some
not
sort
a clone.
some sort of cloning or genetic thing, all I can think of is Amanda Waller explaining Terry McGinnis's origin to her or origin
Oh
to
yeah.
him.
Well, that's a
I
funny,
just
that's a-
just got what was that? I had to get your father's genetic material. Terry looks at her. It's not like it was that hard. He was bleeding all over town. Best
Bruce. It was Bruce's.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So it's gonna be apparently a no holds barred just slugfest between Hulk, Wolverine, and Weapon H.
I'm assuming it's old man Logan.
No.
No.
It's Logan.
Interesting.
It's Logan and Banner.
Oh.
Logan proper and Banner are taking on
That's very
Scandalous.
interesting.
Weapon H, and it's gonna be. Oh, and by the way,
What?
I'm not gonna exactly say what it is, but for
What?
anyone out
Say
there
it.
who's wondering why Wolverine's claws glow red,
Don't get me
pick
started.
up Avengers number 700, issue 10. It explains in there, and it's
That's
awesome.
a really odd book to explain it in.
I disagree.
It sets up a lot of stuff, and
Okay.
it's pretty awesome.
Alrighty.
So
we shall see.
I disagree.
That it's awesome or
Yeah.
that it's an odd book?
When Devon deems that we can talk about it,
we'll have a conversation later about how you're wrong, but
I don't
that's
care
beside
what
the
your
point.
feelings are.
So anyway, and it's actually going to be written by Greg Pak. The Hulkverines is going to be written by Greg Pak, who created Weapon H and was writing Weapon X. So that's going to be pretty cool to see him kind of wrap up his character that he created with 2 other characters he's been really good writing so far.
I want there to be one panel or maybe a full page of just them sitting awkwardly next to each other, like Logan and Banner, and just being like, "So we have a kid.
That would be
We're
amazing.
basically fathers of a child."
Yeah.
He's got your claws. He's got my
My
muscles.
He's got my green skin.
He's
Well,
actually
it's
gray.
gray.
Is he gray?
He's gray.
Well, the
Oh,
original
wow.
Hulk was gray.
Makes sense. Gray. But anyway.
So yeah, next up on the announcements is Sabrina the Teenage Witch is getting a new comic reboot written by Kelly Thompson.
My
Is it
girl.
going to be linked to the Netflix show?
No.
No, that's actually a book that's already out, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. That's
And it
actually
ended.
No, it didn't end.
Oh, I thought it did.
No, the
Because I remember it coming out like hella sporadically.
yeah, that's because the guy who writes it is also the showrunner for all the Archie shows.
Never gonna get it.
No, and I have a feeling that the only way I'm ever going to get the ending is to watch the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina show.
Well, I was telling you earlier that show's got a lot of good jump scares.
Yeah, no, I imagine it would. But yeah, so that's so Kelly Thompson's gonna be writing
Love
it.
me
It
some
looks pretty
her.
cool. I'm kind of excited. I'm a big Sabrina the Teenage Witch fan. I mean, I grew up on the show.
I watched the show a lot too as a kid.
Yeah, it was always fun, and it's gonna be. And as much as I love like the real horror stuff that they've been doing with Chilling Adventures, and like Afterlife with Archie, it's gonna be nice to kind of see the fun classic Sabrina.
Well, it's Kelly Thompson.
yeah,
I mean, right now, for me, no writer is doing more comedy, like kind of comedy camp. Like It's gonna be selfish. I really want Marvel to be done with her. That way I can get her on Vampirella. I'd lose my friggin' gourd.
I thought you wanted Amy Chu on Vampire.
I want everyone on Vampirella.
So yeah, no, that sounds like fun. I mean, I believe it's coming out sometime next year.
Yeah, relatively soon.
I think it's gonna be like mid next year. I don't think it's coming out too soon. But yeah, no. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, this is a nice fun conversation starter.
Is it though?
Not really. So everybody, you've heard our delight so far about a lot of the things with the DC Universe movies and television show and casting.
Oh, this nonsense.
So they casted Cassandra Cain for Birds of Prey.
It's very odd for them to do that.
The Batgirl / orphan character from the comics. Her name is Ella J. Basco, and she looks like she's 12.
I'm gonna look up a photo right now for reference so that I can comment.
Her biggest claim to fame is she was on a couple
episode of Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, she was on a couple episodes, I think.
Oh, thank God for that.
How do you spell her name?
It's Ella ELLA
US.
J spelled Jay.
Jay.
And then
Ella J. Basco. I like that Google's first thing is Ella J. Basco age.
Yeah, because everyone's trying to figure out how old she is.
That's a little uncomfortable.
No, it's because she looks too young for the character. That's
she doesn't
why.
even have like a. Oh. Okay. She is very young looking. I'm pretty sure she is like a young woman. Like she's not older than like 15, like 14.
Oh, how fun.
Like she's very wow.
Like wow, she looks way too young. Wow, or
yes.
Okay.
Like I mean, wow. I mean, I guess they're not looking for Cassandra Cain to do a lot for the next few years because it's not going to be very believable to have like this little like 12-year-old running around beating up people.
I really love that you still have the optimism that there's going to be any movies after this one for Birds of Prey.
I
was going to let him have it.
I don't even think there's going to be like they don't even have plans for Justice League 2. Like, I don't think this is... They're just making whatever movies they want.
Yeah, it's New 52 all over again.
Yippee-ki-yay.
So weird.
So, up to some more upbeat news, because that was
a pill.
That was depressing. Because this has been such a light podcast up till now.
Mm-hmm.
We were good. Till you ruined it.
So, big X-Men news this week. A lot of big X-Men news.
God, Marvel, just take all my money.
Starting with issue 11 in February they announced the official team taking over for Uncanny X-Men. It's going to be Matthew Rosenberg and Salvador LaRocca is going to be doing the art. So that's going to be really cool.
For which book?
Uncanny X-Men.
Okay.
And it's starting off with the return of Cyclops.
Like original?
Yeah.
Yeah, adult Cyclops is coming back.
You sound very much... The tone of your voice is very more optimistic than I would expect it to be.
It's actually, depending on how they do it...
I'm okay.
Well...
I thought you just hate Scott.
He's the character you love to hate, though.
I hate Scott in regards to the character he's been for the last 30 years. Mm-hmm. In terms of the character he was when he was created.
Even then.
What?
After Jean, he made some...
It wasn't until after Jean died that he kind of became the character he is now.
Yeah.
And
I started that little spiral.
And now you've got Logan back.
Emma didn't really make him that much better either, especially towards his death.
But Emma accepted him.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
No, but he didn't have to be anything he wasn't.
Yeah.
Jean,
Nuts?
He had... Yeah.
So...
Like...
So here's the thing. I mean, my thing is that with the writers taking over and where they seem like they're going with it, it seems like it's going to be a story that's going to be fun, and they might actually, because it looks like, I mean, the first 10 issues of Uncanny X-Men is X-Men Disassembled. That's the story, and the cover of Uncanny X-Men 11 is Scott sitting in the rubble of the Xavier Institute,
Which looks really cool.
and I was like, "Oh crap!" Like, so they're really going the whole nine with this story.
I'd imagine.
And-
I assume
and
this is like a return to form for them.
Yeah, and I think with issue 11 and 12, 'cause I think they're actually, I think two are coming out that month, or they at least announced 12 is Scott and Logan coming face to face now that they're both
The
back.
last X-Men.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
And I have a feeling that it's gonna be Scott and Logan rebuilding this team, based
I
on
know
Because
the
that's worked out so well before.
no,
Of
but
course not, but it's always fun to watch them go at
no,
it.
no, no. But you gotta remember though, they've never rebuilt the team together. Like they've never worked together to rebuild the team.
In retrospect, yeah, I think you're right.
They've had different. One's always conceded, and usually being Wolverine because Scott's Scott. Like,
Except for Wolverine and the X-Men.
Well, yeah,
where
because-
he had to show up to Scott's apartment and be like, "Man, stop being such a whiny baby."
but that was the thing. That was Schism. That was when they split, and Wolverine wanted to still believed in the school, and Scott didn't. And that was the first split. Then you had Avengers vs X-Men,
She
which
never loved you.
which made the team, which made everyone split even more. And I think now, having been through everything they've been through, I think they both have kind of gotten to the point where they're like, yeah, you know what, this really never works when we don't work together. Like, let's just do that.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna be really cool to see them actually work together to rebuild the X-Men.
It has to be a conscious decision between the both of them, rather
Yeah.
than one of them just being like, "Ugh, fine, if it sells books."
But also spinning out of this is the Age of X-Man,
God.
which is Nate Gray. Looks like he's launching his own version of the Age of Apocalypse from back in the day, where Nate Gray is going to do something that's going to spawn an alternate reality, and we're getting 6 titles that are going to be 5-issue minis that are going to deal with this alternate reality being created. Whether it's going to be, I don't know if any other X books are going to be getting published besides Uncanny X-Men at this time, because a lot of them are ending. Because
Is X-Men Red ending?
Yep.
X-Men Red, Astonishing X-Men, Weapon X is ending. Oh, so I think the only main X-Men books we're gonna have are gonna be Uncanny and X-Force. And probably whoever has a single book, but I think the only one who was gonna
Iceman's is a mini. Logan's is gonna be.
I don't
Logan's
know.
is gonna keep going.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know if they're announcing a Wolverine series right off the bat.
Well, he's
I
got
thought you
Marvel
said they did.
Presents.
No, just Return of Wolverine. The last one comes out in January.
No, I thought that they said that there was gonna be a Logan book.
No, I don't know if they're doing it right off the bat because they also have the Marvel Presents comic, which is going to have that other story.
Listen, at this point, and
So-
we could go back and find the footage of me being worried. Just don't take away my X-23 book.
Oh, that's right. The X-20 and X-23 will have a solo book. Yeah. But so a lot of big things for the X-Men. Some of the titles coming out of this are going to be for the Age of X-Men series is going to be Amazing Nightcrawler, being written by Shauna McGuire. She's currently writing the new Spider-Gwen book and a couple of other small titles. I'm not sure what they are off the top of my head.
The Amazing Nightcrawler?
Yeah, the Amazing Nightcrawler is going to be one of the books. The Marvelous.
Are they
X-Men.
one shots or are they like
They're
mini-issues?
five-issue minis.
5-issue minis. Then
Coming
the other
out
one,
soon.
the other one's going to be Marvelous X-Men by Lonnie Nadler and Zach Thompson, who are currently the writers on Bloodshot Rising Spirit.
Which, pick it up, people.
Yeah, definitely pick up Bloodshot Rising Spirit #1.
Will, are you picking it up?
What?
Bloodshot Rising Spirit?
No.
Don't you think you should be?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, anyway, the rest of the X-Men titles, we have Extremists, which is going to be written by Leah Williams, who wrote the fantastic X-Men Black issue of Emma Frost.
That was a beautifully amazing book.
Then we also have Next Gen, which is going to be written by Ed Brisson, who
Star Trek: The Next Generation.
yes,
Yes.
X-Men Next Generation. It's going to be written by Ed Brisson, who has been doing really fantastic job with Old Man Logan, Iron Fist, and currently co-writing Uncanny X-Men.
Do you guys know Bonanza had a Next Gen show?
Did it?
Yep.
What?
Bonanza,
Unfortunately.
the Western.
I hated that show.
Oh my god, I love that show.
I'm
Bonanza
sorry.
was great.
So great.
They
were all
Bonanza.
dead. Ben and Hoss were dead. Adam lived in like China because he left the show at some point.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was dead in canon. I think he just stayed wherever he moved to. And then Little Joe was missing in the Civil War. He was MIA.
Huh?
They never found him.
I hated Bonanza.
Anyway, the last two X-Men titles coming out of Age of X-Men are Prisoner X, being written by Vita Ayala, who is going to be signing here December 21st from
BT
5/7. She's going to be writing Livewire for Valiant. It looks like we're going to be asking her to come back sometime in March for Prisoner X.
Super cool.
And the final title coming out is an Apocalypse title called Apocalypse and the Extracts, which is going to be written by one of Steve's favorite writers, Tim Seeley.
I do love me some Tim Seeley.
So yeah, a lot of really good writers.
Interesting. It's an interesting mashup.
And
of people.
and it's going to be, if they do it as well as Age of Apocalypse was, where actually the books all kind of intertwined, I think it'll be worth the read and the wait for the titles. The other last couple of things. I mean, we got the announcement for the new Daredevil team, so that's gonna be pretty good. It's Chip Zdarsky, who's been writing Marvel 2-in-1 and is gonna be writing.
Let it out, girl.
Excuse me.
I don't know why.
And he's
I found
gonna
that
be.
funny.
He's currently writing Marvel 2-in-1. He's going to be writing the Invader series for Marvel as well. So that's going to be really interesting. He's going to have Marco Cicchetto is going to be drawing the book. So the teaser is the Daredevil mask on fire with the tagline "No fear."
No fear.
So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
I'm super excited about it,
fear.
especially considering Daredevil's dying in a couple weeks,
Yeah.
and we
That's
have
an amazing
the
story.
5-issue Man Without Fear, which is essentially the eulogy of the character. So we'll see where this goes.
God, Phil Noto, I just
Uh,
draw me like Elektra.
interesting new story point for the new Guardians book. We already knew it was being going to be concentrating on the last will and testament of Thanos. It turns out that story is because someone has to take Thanos' place as the Mad Titan.
Nebula.
So
Is it Nebula?
no, I don't know.
No, that's what I think it is.
Oh.
There's
Probably.
Or Adam Warlock. That would be fun.
That
Would be cool. Come on.
So that's going to be the focus of the arc, is going to be the new Guardians of the Galaxy have to track down the heir to Thanos' legacy, whoever he leaves it to become the next him. And
Wouldn't it be in his will and testament?
yeah, the second issue is they have to go track the person down and deliver this to them before, I guess, if he
Did the first issue come out yet?
No, January.
Oh, okay. So we have yet to hear the last will and testament.
Yeah. So, but they've already said that. Yeah, I guess it's gonna deal with a lot of stuff where, it's gonna be like universe ending if they don't find the person to accept the title
I hope it's T'Challa.
and the legacy that he left behind.
Okay.
Last bit of news here. This is a big thing. This actually is. It's gonna be essentially the summer event for Marvel. Is the War of the Realms by Jason Aaron.
Oh.
It's the big finish to his entire Thor run. He's been building for, God, 6-7 years now. He's been
Yeah.
planning this since he started this in Marvel Now.
Oh God.
This is
yeah.
3 years before
Well, no,
Secret
he was
Wars.
also writing before Marvel. Now he was writing Thor still.
Yeah, no, that was Marvel Now.
That was it, where it was like the beautiful painted like
Yeah.
artwork.
Yeah, when Assad Ribic was doing it. Yeah.
War of the Realms.
Thank you, Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Anyway, but no,
What's the last piece of news?
that's it's. I'm talking about the War of the Realms.
Oh.
War of the Realms.
Good. No, but this is actually gonna be something where so they have a big poster of it or a splash page of what things are to come in War of the Realms. And
War of the
Oh my God,
Realms.
stop.
So they actually have a lot of cool things in it with certain characters, what they're looking like, where they're at with what's happening, and one of the things is that Daredevil is present in the tapestry for the teaser for the book, and he's carrying a Valkyrie sword, and he looks like he's endowed with the Captain Universe powers.
Okay.
Weird.
So it looks pretty intense. Some crazy stuff's going on with Daredevil.
Okay.
And, yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of really crazy stuff happening. It's gonna be 6 issues over the course of 3 months, and it's goes from April to June.
Okay.
And it's the big finish to Jason Aaron's run on Thor. He said once he does this arc, he's done. No more Thor for him. And he's gonna be moving on.
How
to
many
other...
issues has he done?
God. A lot.
It was actually funny. He was actually when Thor relaunched recently with Odin's son.
Mm-hmm.
He said that was his 5th Thor #1 since he's been writing Thor. He had the Marvel Now Thor.
Yeah.
Then he had the Jane Foster Thor Series 1. And then he had in between that he had Thor's, which was the Secret Wars book, and then the Jane Foster Series 2, and now the newest Thor run. So he's had 5 #1s for Thor since he's taken over.
Yeah, I'd say it's time to take a break.
So he's kind of gotten to the point where he's like, I have. It's been a rocky road because of all the events and interruptions, but he's like, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finally culminating into the final story I'm telling with
Culminating in the final episode, the final tale.
War
this. And actually,
of the Realms.
actually, you know what? He has more than that because he's also got Unworthy Thor.
Yep.
So 6.
Thor.
The other thing too was
6 whole books.
What are you doing?
War of the
You realize
Realms.
that you were like, we need to keep this under 2 hours.
We're like at an hour and 40.
that's pretty good. I was aiming for an hour and 30, but that's pretty good.
So was I.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, no. Yeah, so I'm excited. I've been waiting for this story arc to come up for a while now, so I can't wait to see how it all wraps up, what's gonna happen, and it's just been a fun ride from the beginning to what's gonna be the end soon. And it didn't even start in Thor. This all started when he did Original Sin.
Yeah.
When he wrote the Original Sin event, and Nick Fury turned around
And whispered.
and just broke Thor's world.
He walked up to Thor and went, Thor, War.
Oh no, wait, no, actually no, he was writing Thor before Original
he was.
Sin, because it was all because of what happened, what the God Butcher said.
What does Fury tell Thor?
Fury tells Thor.
Somebody was right.
Yeah,
That's right. It was the
Gore the God Butcher was right, and the whole thing was that he doesn't believe he's worthy. He doesn't believe gods are worthy at all. That they don't do anything aside from calling
Thor
themselves.
or the guy?
Thor believes that. That's why he can't pick up the hammer. Because he doesn't believe he's
And how
worthy.
does he get
He doesn't believe.
the right to do that again?
He hasn't yet.
Yeah, he does.
No, he's not using his hammer. He keeps having the dwarves make him new hammers. That's why they keep shattering. So he doesn't actually have his hammer back yet.
Huh.
And the whole thing is that
We
this
have
is
to wait for him to get it in.
Thor War of the
What the hell was that?
Just let it be, man.
You realize you're gonna have to edit a couple of those out. Like I've got no problem if you want to do some extravagant stuff, but
Thor. War of the realms.
Are you gonna create a theme song to go with that?
I don't know, probably.
Like some. I'm
if we ever
imagining
get any
some-
super fans that want to just edit like,
No, I don't even want it to
Thor
be.
of the
I don't.
realms.
I don't want it to be that. I want it to be like some friggin' like Viking opera as you're doing it.
a War of the Realms theme song should literally be that. It should literally start off with like this really classical, like operatic start, like the and then all of a sudden just slam into like death metal.
No, I kind of want it to be that. Scene. I kind of want it to be that scene from The Fifth Element,
War of the realms.
or what Will's doing, but.
He's fighting in the War of the Realms. With his hammer, maybe, I don't know.
Oh,
Murder!
oh my God, I can't. Okay.
wait, do it with me. Hold on. Now you have the effect.
War of the Realms. Murder!
I hate you both.
Murder all the other people.
I would also like to take this time to announce this will be my last podcast with the October Country Comics Rejects. I mean,
All right.
Your mug's coming next week. I already ordered.
not.
Alrighty.
So next up, guys, we have the new releases. Not a lot of crazy stuff coming out this week. Thanksgiving week. So hey, thank you Marvel DC for not like completely murdering us with
I
titles.
don't know. I
It's
think I
great.
got a big pull list this week.
Yeah, but it's nothing. It's not a whole bunch of new stuff.
Care
The
about
biggest
new.
new things that are coming out. We have Archie 700. So that's a big milestone. Archie's getting a
Congratulations, Archie.
It's 700 issues for Archie. It's gonna be really good.
Archie, issue 700.
So and I,
Don't forget about Thor War of the
and honestly, Will,
Realms.
I like honestly, man, I've always felt that if your hair was like red, you would be like a dead ringer for like a live action Archie.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I should have auditioned.
You should have
should've.
Damn.
brought your guitar and everything. It would have been great.
Does Archie play guitar? Is that like a staple
Yeah.
of the character?
I can't with that.
I know-
Don't you watch Riverdale?
No.
I thought you did.
No.
No, Rob does.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, he usually like some of the times he's always
And
carrying
Tyler.
Around, he's always carrying around a guitar. But I was gonna say like that's like his jam. And honestly, all you'd have to do to have completed it, all you have to do is dye your hair red and show up with Annalisa's Letterman jacket with a guitar, and you would have been a dead ringer for the role.
Ding, ding, ding.
So yeah, Archie 700, come check it out.
Boom.
It's gonna be, it's a milestone, guys. It's probably as big of a milestone as when they killed him.
What?
Yeah.
They killed Archie a couple. That's why they rebooted it
I never knew that.
because they killed.
How did
they,
he die? Drug problem?
No, he got shot.
Abuse?
No, really, like
He got
Archie.
shot.
Yeah, he got shot in. Someone tried to rob Pops,
Oh,
And
wow.
he-
So they literally ripped that straight from.
and he goes and he intervenes and he gets shot in the. It's a ice cream shop, right?
And he just dies and they never rectify it. They're just like, nope, we're restarting.
Yeah, no, it ends. That's how it ended. That's how they ended the original Archie run. Was he died?
Okay.
Yep, that was the end of Archie.
What's next?
Next up is it ties into Infinity Wars. It's one of the Infinity Warps characters. Honestly, I think it's next to my personal heartfelt favorite, which is Arachnite, because I'm a huge Spider-Man and Moon Knight fan. This is probably the coolest sounding one.
Yeah.
Ghost Panther.
Ghost Panther. Get ready
Black
for...
Panther with the Ghost Rider powers. This is epic. Epic.
Who's writing?
Yeah. It is the coolest sounding one. So let's see what they have to bring to the table.
Yeah, no,
Ghost Panther.
I'm
Come
excited.
check it out.
And apparently, they've also said that a lot of the Infinity Warps characters are sticking around.
They'll probably
Af-
give them their own little corner of the multiverse. or
Beautiful.
whatever.
Beautiful.
What?
The app doesn't even have it.
Oh, okay. No, but yeah, no. I think it's gonna be a fun book. All the Infinity Warps characters have been a lot of fun. I don't think I need like an alternate universe where they all exist, but I think if they popped up every once in a while,
Like the
a
amalgam
story,
universe.
yeah.
No one needs the amalgam universe again.
No one needs
You
it,
leave
but,
Dark
like,
Claw alone.
I love Dark Claw, but I didn't need it.
Dark Claw.
Spider Boy.
I don't even know any of the other ones other than Darklaw because that's the only one.
There was
anyone
actually
ever remembers.
I'm pretty sure it was a Nightwing Moon Knight mashup,
I think
Yes.
and I kept
Called
sitting-
Moonwing.
Moonwing.
Would it be
I don't
Moonwing?
know if that's what his name was. I was actually trying to think. I was like, wait,
Or would it
they-
be Night Moon?
I think it is Night Moon, actually.
It might be Night Moon. Yeah, that would make sense, I
Or
guess.
no, it would be Night Night.
I hate you.
Moonwing.
I hate you so hard.
Moonwing or Night Night?
Night night.
Oh no! Look out! It's Night Night.
Criminal.
Jed Mackey? McKay?
Jed McKay. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Jed McKay is writing Ghost Panther, so this should be fun.
Ghost Panther.
But
Not
no,
Night Night.
no, you know what? That is pretty
Night
awesome.
Night.
And you know what? That would be like the best. That's their name is their catchphrase. They would just show up like on top of a bunch of bank robbers. Time to go night night. Wham!
Like-
That's where he would get his name from.
Night night criminals.
Night
And
night.
then just pummel the crap out of them.
This is beautiful.
It ranks right up there with like the weird thing I was just watching on Batman the Animated Series, where Batman's fighting Catwoman for the first time in the show, and he goes, and it's so weird because it's like I don't
I'm
know.
angry and aroused all at the same time.
No, because it really was. It was he literally goes, "Ugh, time to trim those claws,"
Ew.
and I was like,
Yeah, he does.
oh.
No. No.
And it's Kevin Conroy Batman.
I
so
know.
It's the class. Like I just like.
Time to trick.
Why
And
did
it's
that
also like
surprise
Batman
you?
the
Because-
animated series.
Because Bruce
Kevin.
Timm is a dirty pig.
I can't picture. Time
no.
to trim those claws. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
You're
pretty
gonna take
pretty great. So final for the big new releases this week, and this is a big one because it's
Big one? A
rewriting
big one?
mythology for a major Marvel character.
Ooh.
Whoa.
It's the Web of Venom Carnage Born, written by Donny Cates. And
Do you think, because I'm very curious about this, do you think that Marvel is just like, Donny Cates is like, I really want to rewrite Carnage's story? And at this point, Marvel's just like, yeah, do it. Do whatever you want.
no, I think he actually went in with a real story that he wanted to tell for the Venom character, and there's things that he has to set up for future story arcs. And this is a big thing because especially at the end of the last issue of Venom, what they are teasing with Cletus Cassidy, you kind of have to go full into who Cletus Cassidy is and why. And it looks like it's going to be more than he just was a psychotic. It seems like there's a lot.
Psychotic?
There seems like there's a lot more that Donny Cates is infusing into the character.
Psychopath.
So it's going to be really interesting because it's going right back to when he was born in a mental asylum, right up into like there's a scene.
That's a good sign.
There's a scene.
It worked
in
out so well for Freddy Krueger.
there's a scene in the book in the preview that they showed where it's Cletus Cassidy as a kid watching families play on a playground, and it shows the panel of the normal families and it shows what he sees, which is them just skinned alive.
Yes.
And it's some disturbing stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a really dark book.
Oh yeah.
So I'm excited to see where they go with it, and they're going real hard into like they kind of always glossed over a little bit of it in the 90s, but from the description of the book is actually that Cletus Cassidy is a sociopathic cannibal. So they're going hard into the fact
Cannibal.
that he is just gone as a human. And when it's like a slight retelling of his origin, and then it's just what Carnage is. So it's going to be pretty intense.
Yeah.
It's good reading right before your Thanksgiving dinner. So make sure to come in and pick it up.
everyone
Yummy.
needs
Make sure to
it.
come and pick it up. So we'll have some fun. Bring it up at dinner. Talk about Cletus Cassidy.
Good old
Maybe
Thanksgiving
serve your
dinner.
family with a turkey leg. I don't know.
Are you saying this? Never mind. We're
Yeah.
not going. This is that the wording of that was left
Yeah.
open for far too many things. All right, guys, listen. This has been a great podcast. We had a great talk about Stan Lee, great news, and we got some fun titles coming out this week, next to all the big normal titles. So, again, thanks for coming out and listening. Steve, Will, thank you again so much for being here and doing this with me.
Always love
And
doing it
and
with you.
what about Steve?
Yeah, he's here. He's here too.
He can't handle all this.
So yeah, listen, guys, it's been great. We've had this is just.
Oh my
been-
God, it is Moonwing. Sorry.
It is Moonwing.
It is Moonwing.
Oh,
it took
God.
me forever and a minute to
Of
find
course,
it.
because if it was Night Night, it wouldn't make any.
No.
But it is
Be
Moonwing.
as cool. But
And
Steve,
it's also Jason Todd and Moon Knight.
Really?
Yep.
why would that?
I don't know.
Wouldn't that be Moon Hood then?
No, at that point he wasn't. Oh wait, no, I guess it's not.
Or
I
would
don't know
he
why.
still be Rob?
Oh, because Dick dies.
Oh, so Jason
And
takes
Jason
over as
comes
Nightwing.
over as
Oh, okay.
Moonwing. Such a
All right,
weird
guys. Well, so
costume.
this has been another October Crunchy Comics podcast with Devon.
Thor, War of the Realms.
Will.
Speechless. That's what I have.
Yep.
Speechless. That's all you
Speechless.
got.
That's all I got.
Devon, Will, and Speechless.
You know what? We're just gonna end it with Night Night.
No, I know what we have to end tonight's podcast
Oh
with.
my
Okay.
God,
And
why?
I know we gave up on the saying goodbye in unison, but I think today we have to give Stan a proper send off with his most famous catchphrase.
I'll agree.
All right.
All right.
I'll give it that. Do you want me to give it the big echo so it sounds epic?
Yes.
For everyone?
Yes. Let's
All
make
right.
this
Oh my
epic,
God.
guys. All right. On the count of 3.
So 4.
Yeah. No. When I say 3, we say it
Are you
after
going 1,
3.
2, 3, or you just saying 3?
1, 2, 3. Excelsior!